doesn't need to be so complicated. The economy is really the sum of all the transactions that take place within a society. And there are a couple of role players that participate in these transactions. You have individuals, you have businesses, you have government. So you go to the bar and you order a beer, so there's an individual, there's a business, and then there's some taxes as well that gets collected there. So it's really quite simple. But how do you do transactions? You need to do transactions with something, and there's really two main things to actually make a transaction take place. You have money and you have credit. So money allows us to transact, and credit does something slightly different. It allows us to transact more than what we would have been able to transact if it was only based on the earnings that we generated today, or differently said, our productivity today. So if you then take money and you take credit and you take those two things together, that is in the total spending in an economy. And that total spending in an economy is then what drives economic growth or economic activity. Now, credit is particularly important to us because the availability of credit changes a lot more than the availability of money. And this is where human nature comes in. So, I said credit is a mechanism through which human nature causes economic cycles. Let's repeat that. Credit is a mechanism through which human nature causes economic cycles. So I said that if I get credit, I can actually make a transaction now with money that I didn't really have. And if I spend money now that I'm actually only going to earn in the future, there's going to be a point in the future where I have to pay back that money with earnings in the future. So those things are naturally going to cause cycles, right? Now, when do people take on more credit? People take on more credit when it's more easily available to take on more credit. So we've talked about human nature. We tend to be, and I say this respectfully, we tend to have a bit of a herding behavior when it comes to human beings. We tend to be like sheep a bit sometimes. So when things go well, we get overexcited. You know, the providers of credit becomes more confident. They're more willing to lend us money. We get more confident. We lend more money. We start buying things. Maybe we buy a house. Maybe we buy a car. If you look at the case of Namibia, there was a stage where we got very excited about property. So you buy a property, you know, maybe you didn't even have to put down a deposit. Then the property grows, you have some extra equity, you can use that again, you borrow again, you buy another property. So through this mechanism, you start pushing up prices, you start pushing up financial assets. As financial assets goes up, people's worth goes up, people become more confident, and this thing starts growing. And remember one very important principle: one person's spending is another person's income. That person's income then, the spend, becomes another person's income, and so this economic cycle continues. And this is what's causing cycles, as I was saying, because at some stage, eventually, you know, because of human nature, we sometimes get into a bubble. And what goes up must eventually come down. And this is what's creating these cycles. So, cycles are normal. I think this is very important to know. In Namibia, we've had a period of roughly 20 years where things went very well for different reasons. And we're in a state now where things are difficult. Things are difficult. I mean, there's no denial about that. But I want us just to understand that cycles are normal as a result of this very basic principle of transactions, and that the fact that credit creates those cycles. Well, let's talk about credit just quickly a little bit more. Is credit necessarily bad? Not always. So let's take the example of a farmer who wants to increase the production of his crop. To do that, he needs a tractor. So if you can get credit for that tractor, then maybe you can increase your yield, which can increase your income, so that your productivity can go up. Then credit was a good thing, because then your income went up, you're spending more. Remember, your spending is another person's income, that person gets more money, they spend again, and so this economy starts growing. The problem is as I've said, is if you use money that you only going to earn in the future, and something's not productive, so maybe you buy a TV, and you go sit in front of the TV, and you maybe have a little bit of extra beers, and your productivity goes down. So what is the current state of the Namibian economy now that we've talked about those cycles? Well, we had the global financial crisis. Everybody knows what happened to the global financial crisis. It's tough. And something needed to be done. So, what did the government do in Namibia when things were tough? Remember, we have the cycles, and maybe I must just go back one point on the previous graph. Government's got two tools at their disposal, usually two main tools. We want them to smooth these cycles. Now, they're not the only players. We're not blaming government here. They're just a very important player. We want them to smooth these cycles. It's not great to have these booms and then bust in the economy. We have an example now of what we've gone through in the construction sector in Namibia, where companies are going out of business, people are losing their jobs. It's not good for the economy. It doesn't create confidence. So how can the government smooth these cycles? When times are tough, we want them to stimulate. Stimulate meaning, and there's two ways that we can stimulate. The one way is through fiscal policy. This is the budget that we listen to every year or twice a year, where government tells us how they plan to spend. Now remember, government is one of the role players with this transaction taking place. So one person's spending becomes another person's income. So as the government then involved in spending, they start stimulating the economy again. So when would we like them to do this? We ideally would like them to do this when things are not going so great. So they're in the trough. That's when we want them to stimulate. So they can do that through fiscal policy. Another way in which the government can stimulate is through what's called monetary policy. That is just interest rate. So we've talked about credit creating these cycles. So if money is more freely available, then more people will borrow, and then the cycle goes up, and when money is less freely available, people need to start deleveraging, right? So through interest rates, if interest rates are low, then it's easier for us, right, to borrow, and the other way around. So those are the two tools that governments have at their disposal to try and smooth these cycles. Okay, so that's as background in connection with credit.